And I thought the point Rogan could be reasoned with in that way, and his audience, it was important to try to communicate with them. Like the thing is like, go on all these platforms. It's like why I went on Tim Pool, but I'm gonna go there in a way where I'm not gonna try to get invited back.
In this video, Emma Vigeland and Kyle Kulinski declare war on people like Tim Pool and Joe Rogan. Emma Vigeland and Kyle Kulinski claim that Tim Pool is fake, and Tim Pool responds on Twitter. With that, let's watch Emma Vigeland and Kyle Kulinski make fools of themselves by barking up the wrong tree at Tim Pool and Joe Rogan.
These topics, and then, wow, in retrospect, would you look at that? You completely flipped. I mean, we were defending him, unfortunately, way too late, right? When people were already on to, I don't know, man, you're saying a little bit more right-wing things here, and we would be like, well, no, look, here's a compilation of all the times Joe Rogan said base things. He argued for universal health care. He argued for free college. He argued for higher minimum wage and this good thing. And I would show that compilation and go, see, I don't know what you guys are talking about. But guess what? When you decide I'm going to endorse Donald Trump after he lied to your face relentlessly for the entire podcast, telling brazen lies, then I'm sorry, all the charity is gone. All the sympathy is gone. And I have to come to a different conclusion now. My conclusion of, you could hold these people's hands and walk them through it and talk to them like they're reasonable and work it out. It just didn't work. It just didn't work. And that's why you see a much more bold, aggressive.
If you like watching videos like this one, like and subscribe. We'd really appreciate it. Let's get back to the video.
Aggressive style out of me where I'm like, fuck these people and the horse they rode in on. Because if what I did before didn't work, okay, I got to try a different approach now. So if it's just call these people the fucking frauds they are, well, then guess what? We're going to call them the frauds that they are.
But don't be like hard on yourself in that way. I mean, Bernie Sanders did the same thing where he was trying to go there. And I thought the point Rogan could be reasoned with in that way. And his.
Unfortunately for me, I have just coincidentally watched a handful of videos this week of these two specifically. They have extremely high opinions of themselves, and they think that they are way more influential on politics than they really are. I think a lot of the anger you're seeing out of them is, and this is pure speculation, but besides their diehard loyal fans, whoever the heck that is, people really aren't buying what they're selling anymore. They realized how nuts these people are, and I just don't think people are interested really in hearing their messages anymore. But I could be wrong. So much to get into here. So Kyle Kulinski says, F Joe Rogan. He had the opportunity to go on his show 5 times, he says, and Rogan would sit there and nod along with the stuff he said. That's because, Kyle, he was listening and letting you get your message, however clownish it is, out to millions of people. That's what a good interviewer does. He listens to you. Just because Rogan didn't buy into your BS, at least you got your message out to millions of people. Now you can't be mad at Rogan that none of them cared about anything you had to say. So maybe look inward and stop blaming everyone else for your failures. And Kyle said, he used a different word, but that the pandemic broke Joe Rogan's brain. No, Kyle, the pandemic and all the BS that went along with it is one of the things that started his wake-up call. And really, when I said early, just kind of as an aside, that I really don't know who their audience is. Now, I'm not taking away from them that I think both of them have a lot of subscribers. However, I can count on one hand all of the people I've either met or seen that actually listen to them. I genuinely don't know who these people are. So there's more to the video. So maybe my mind will be changed with the end of the video here. So let's get back to the video.
Be reasoned with in that way, and his audience, it was important to try to communicate with them. Like the thing is like, go on all these platforms. It's like why I went on Tim Pool, but I'm gonna go there in a way where I'm not gonna try to get invited back. Like I'm gonna go there and try to
adversarial.
Communicate at this point, specifically with explicitly right-wing outlets. You got to go in there and you've got to eat their lunch, because the only time that leftists get reinvited to these places is if you validate everything that they say.
Right.
And then that creates a perverse incentive for those leftist communicators as well, because there's so much more money on that side of the equation. It is awash in money, and we're kind of scraping by on our end because turns out like socialized healthcare and those kinds of policies, not necessarily the kind of thing that corporations want to fund in like a communications medium.
Yeah, and you have to be adversarial. There's no way around it. I mean, I even criticized Bernie. I understand what Bernie's trying to do when he says,
Yeah, so these two geniuses, I think, are just starting this made-up beef to, again, I don't know, heighten their profile in the political landscape, because absolutely nobody cares what they have to say. But Tim Pool did take the bait. He responded. Tim Pool responded on Twitter very recently, just hours ago, I think. His tweet was, "We've invited Kyle on several times. We had Sam, and it's Sam Cedar, on well after Emma was on, and both are still invited to come on. But they have really stupid viewers who don't listen outside their echo chamber. It's a cult." Could Tim Pool be any more correct? I mean, like I said, I don't know who their viewers are, but their cult, their diehard viewers are going to stick with them no matter what. But I really think they have to be struggling to get, new subscribers, new viewers, other than people like me who subscribe to them just so I can take clips and laugh at them. I just think they're way too extreme to the left, and they're not all that likable. And that sounds mean, but think about how these two in this short clip have just exposed their character. They've said, F these people. I'm going to take a new approach because they're all frauds. So Joe Rogan, Tim Pool are frauds, and because they don't agree with you, they're frauds. He also said Joe Rogan endorsed Donald Trump after he went on his podcast and lied the entire time. But this is so common with the left, especially with grifters like these two, that will say things like that, but he didn't give an example of what he lied about. I genuinely don't know what he's talking about. And when he was talking, and when Kyle Kalinske was talking about Joe Rogan, he said, "You can walk these people through it and talk it out, but it just didn't work." Okay, since when is anyone, much less Joe Rogan, seeking your counsel to inform their political opinions, Kyle? I promise, besides your little group, no one's looking for you. Oh, and when I was speaking about their character, yeah, so people don't agree with them, so it's F these people, and they're frauds. And Emma said, when I went on Tim Pool's show, I went on there with the intention of not being invited back. And Kyle's like, so adversarial. And they're like, yeah. These are angry, dark-hearted people. Like, they're always complaining in the clips I see them in, just whining that people don't agree with them and their insane leftist views. I mean, they are so far to the left, no one can take them seriously. But they're also just unlikable. Listen to this. I mean, oh my gosh, and I forgot, the funniest probably line of this whole thing is when Emma said, so I went on Tim Pool, and you got to go on these shows ready to eat their lunch. I'm not joking when I say the first time that Emma Vigeland even came onto my radar was when she was on Tim Pool, and she made herself look so stupid on that show that I think clips of it even went viral. She was so dumb. She said something like, "Tim, are you proud that white supremacists listen to your show?" Literally, he was like, what? It was just clearly trying to attack him. It wasn't even really relevant to the conversation. It made her look so stupid. So if her goal was to, quote unquote, eat his lunch, she did a terrible job. If anything, lunch was eaten in a different direction. I like to make fun of people and joke around and stuff, but I know that can be mean. But these two people, I feel no remorse saying that I think they're just dark, evil, angry people that have never faced adversity in their entire life. But I have to admit, I do enjoy watching clips of them because the more desperate they get to get people to get on board with their insane messaging, insane ideology, the more crazy stuff they say like this. So do you think Joe Rogan is going to think for a second about these two talking about him? Tim Pool, his tweet was actually, besides calling him a cult, it was gracious. I absolutely believe that Tim Pool will have them on anytime they want to come on, but they're going to be tough on him now and go eat his lunch. So I hope they do go back on Tim Pool. Shoot, I hope they go back on Rogan sometime because it's YouTube gold, and it's gold for commentary videos like this because they say so many stupid things. Anyway, we want to hear from you. Do you know anybody that actually listens to these two? And please, please, if there's someone out there that listens to these two and thinks they're really sharp, please leave it in the comment section because I just don't get it. And I'm always open-minded, willing to change my mind. Tell me if I'm missing something, if they're political savants that I'm just not aware of. And I guess just everyone let me know what you think of this contrived beef between these two and Joe Rogan and Tim Pool. Anyway, that's it for this video. As always, we really, really appreciate you watching, and we will see you on the next one.